All right, let's we're going to talk about this is day 2 of nutrition, and we're talking about nutrients. So there's a couple targets that we have today that I want you to learn. Calories, like what is a calorie? What's the energy? What's chemistry of calories? Learn the two classifications of nutrients. Learn which nutrients are essential. Let's discuss the chemistry of certain foods, and let's discuss, our calorie needs. So let's get in it. What are nutrients? Okay. And every food we eat is made up of chemistry, and the nutrients are the chemistry of the food. It's basically, what are you getting out of the food? Your body does not see food as we see it. Your body doesn't see pizza. Your body doesn't process, hey, I'm eating pizza. What your body is processing, what is that pizza made of? What are the nutrients in the pizza? And that's what it's actually processing. So that's the level that we want this conversation to be on today. So there's two classifications of nutrients. Okay, there's macronutrients and there's micronutrients. Okay. Two classifications, and macronutrients and micro. Macronutrients are nutrients that provide energy to the body. Okay. And these would include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and alcohol. So those are the four macronutrients, and they are macronutrients that provide energy to the body. Okay. The second classification of nutrients is, like I said, is micronutrients. And these nutrients do not provide energy for the body, but they do support other functions. So I'm not saying they're not essential and they're not needed. They just don't provide energy, but they are needed. Okay. These types of nutrients, these micronutrients includes vitamins, minerals, and water. So vitamin, minerals, and water, they help support the functions of the body, but they don't provide energy. Okay, water doesn't provide you energy, but you still need it. It supports other functions of the body. Same thing with vitamins and minerals. So this is really important. Two classifications of nutrients, macronutrients. They provide energy. The macronutrients that provide energy are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and alcohol. So there's four food types that provide energy. Okay, and then you got micronutrients. They are nutrients that do not provide energy but support other function. That's vitamin, minerals, and water. Okay, so let's look at the energy and chemistry of a food. So like I said, every food is made up of chemistry. Okay, and calories is a macronutrient. And there's four types of them. I already introduced these. The four type of macronutrients that are calories. Calories is just energy. Okay, that's what it represents. So you have carbohydrates, you have proteins, you have fats, and you have alcohol. Okay. Now, as we said, all four of these things do provide energy, but not all four are essential. And when I say essential, I mean you have to have them to survive. Okay. Fats and proteins are essential. Okay, they're essential. The human body cannot survive without fats and proteins. Okay, you'd eventually die if you never had any protein, you never had any fat. Okay, so they are essential. Now, these two categories can be broken down even further, which we're not going to get into all that science, but there's certain proteins, there's certain types of fat that's essential. Not every category is essential. Okay. And some people, I don't know if that's controversial or not. I mean, fat has such a bad rep in the last probably 40 years, 40, 50 years. But fats are essential to survive. You can't survive without it. Okay. Now, this may be controversial because uh, in the last 40, 50 years, because carbohydrates have been pushed so much as the core of the American diet. Now, there are no specific carbohydrate that is essential. Okay. That may be controversial, and it's not debatable. What's controversial is what I'm not saying is don't eat carbohydrates. What I'm not saying is carbohydrates provide uh, uh, don't really provide anything that's important for the body. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's no specific carbohydrate, starch, fiber, or sugar. Those are three types of carbohydrates. They're not essential. Okay. You can live without starch. You can live without fiber. You can live without sugar. Okay. You can't live without fats and protein. So I'm just talking about the specific science of it, um, not whether it's good or bad. I'm just saying here's what's essential. Again, yesterday we talked about thriving versus or surviving versus thriving. There's certain things you have to have, certain amount of energy you have to have that comes from food to survive. And then there's certain things you need to actually thrive, and there's a spectrum. So this is that thrive, survive. You need fats and proteins to thrive. You don't need carbohydrates to thrive. I mean, to survive. You need fats and proteins to survive. You don't need carbohydrates to survive. Now, it's a whole nother discussion when we talk about thriving. Carbohydrates can be good for thriving. Okay. So I put a link here, and this would be in the notes in Google Classroom to a scientific paper that talks about like the specific essential nutrients. So breaking down the type of fats, breaking down the type of proteins, breaking down those things to the very specific, so you know what's essential. Okay. All right. Your body only sees chemistry, and every food we eat is made up of chemistry. Your body sees the chemistry of a food, and so let's talk about like the six types of foods that's is really the American diet, is really the food pyramid, I guess, back in the day they used to call it. And let's talk about the chemistry of those foods. So let's look at it in picture form. So you have fruits. Okay, fruits is made up. So what's the chemistry of a fruit? Okay, or the energy. Fruit is made up of water, which is a micronutrient. Again, micronutrients are nutrients that do not provide energy, but they are essential. Okay, they support other functions of the body. So you got to have water, even though it doesn't provide energy. It supports other functions of the body. Fruits also is made up of carbs, carbohydrates, and it has all three types of carbs: starch, fiber, and sugars. Okay, vegetables. Vegetables has water like fruit. It has carbs like fruit, but notice the carbs that it has, the types of carbs that it has is just starch and fiber. It doesn't have sugar. That's why vegetables are not sweet to the taste for the most part. So as a pineapple or mango is sweet because of the higher sugar content. Spinach, kale is not sweet because it doesn't have sugar. Okay, but it's basically these fruits and vegetables are basically considered carbs. Okay, and then you have beans that has carbs, starch, and fiber are the two types of carbs, and it has protein and fat. So again, carbs, protein, fats provide energy. Okay, meats, fish, eggs, food that comes from animals. The chemistry of it is proteins and fats. Okay, or the nutrients of it is proteins and fats. Okay, there's no sugar in it, no water in it, but that's what it's essentially made of. Grains. So we're talking about like rice, breads, pastas, oats. Um, yeah, those all fit in that grain category. What are they made up? The nutrients in it are carbs. Again, you have starch and fiber, and then it has proteins and fats. Okay, that's what makes up a grain. And then lastly, you have milk, yogurt. It's made up of a lot of water. Okay, micronutrient. And then it has the macronutrients of carbs, which is sugar. Sugar is the type of carb it primarily has. And then you have macronutrients of protein and fat. So again, macronutrients, nutrients that provide energy. Milk has carbs, proteins, and fats. They all provide energy. Milk has water, which is a micronutrient in it. which doesn't provide energy. So just remember that carbs, proteins, fats, and alcohols, although none of these things have alcohol in it, they provide energy. Water is a micronutrient that is important, that is essential. It supports other function, but it doesn't give you energy. Okay, so how many calories you need? So we just talked about all these foods, these different types of foods that's providing energy and calories. That's what it is, energy. How much do we need to thrive versus survive? Okay, there's no precise answer. There's just too many factors that contribute to that question. And I need you to understand, I need you to know, be able to recognize some factors that will contribute to that. Okay, a person's sex, whether they're male or female, can factor into whether, how much calories, how many calories a person needs. Age, okay, age, meaning, are you at an age that you're still growing versus someone like me? I'm not growing. Okay, calorie needs could change because of that. Height, having more muscle mass. Well, more muscle you have, the more energy it takes for your body to function. So you need more calories. So how much muscle mass and height, size to your body can be a factor. Your genetics, your physical activity. This is key. We're in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and for many people, their lifestyles have changed. So this class, in and of itself, was primarily a physical class. We have probably 95% physical activity in PE and about 5% mental. Now that we're in COVID, that has flipped. This class is mostly a mental class, although you're supposed to be working out, get your platform workouts done. But your lifestyle, the lifestyle has changed because of COVID. So your calorie needs may be a lot less now that we're in COVID and we're not as active, we're not doing PE, we're not running around, we're not playing sports than when COVID wasn't around. So all these different factors play into how many calories you need. It's just so hard to be precise. There is no precise answer. There's general guidelines. Okay. In general, notice a mistake on my slide. In general, boys between the age of 13 and 19 need 2,000 to 3,000 calories, okay, per day. Okay. Ladies, females between the age of 13 and 19 need 1,600 to 2,400 calories per day. Again, these are general averages based on the general size of boys age 13 and 13 and 19 and girls age 13 and 19. But it doesn't take into account height. It doesn't take into account muscle mass. It doesn't take into account genetics. It doesn't take in account, they're kind of making averages based on physical activity. So these are generalities, hard to be specific. There's no magical number. There's nothing magical about those numbers. Our bodies are super flexible. They can easily adapt to increase calories or decrease calories without without changing the body itself. Okay. So remember yesterday I talked about how there's no perfect diet. There's no perfect way of eating. And it's the same thing with calories. Now if we're talking about volume of eating, there is no perfect, especially perfect for one day. Your body responds to averages. So one day, a boy age 13 may eat 1,600 calories, and then the next 2 days he eats 3,000 calories, and the next day he's 1,900 calories, and then maybe 2 days he's 1,200 calories. So your body is gonna adjust based on these averages, not uh, individual days making significant changes in the body. The body is just too flexible for that. So that's calories and nutrients part one. Next week we'll go into part two. So yesterday we did a nutrient overview. Today nutrition overview. Today was nutrients and calories. Tomorrow we have our or day 3 of the week. We also have Dr. Thomas. So please make sure you're doing your platform workouts, and the notes, the Google Slides, will also be in Google Classroom. And there's a quizzy, 12 question quizzy that was given out today that's based on this lesson and a note. So make sure you get that done as soon as possible.